Thanks for watching the Council in Brief. I'm Susan Kenedy. We're here with the latest news of the Montgomery County Council. Up first, new legislation that addresses trust in government. A code of ethics provides a measure of accountability between the government and the public. Two new measures introduced this week by Councilmember Andrew Friedson would strengthen trust, accountability, and transparency within Montgomery County government.
Our only currency in public life is public trust. That is the currency that we have to be able to do anything that we do in terms of policy making, in terms of government programs, in terms of our ability to get things done.
The Public Accountability and County Transparency Act would ensure that any employee in county government is not using their position for personal gain.
This bill puts forward a series of very significant provisions to prevent certain activities from happening that would lead residents understandably to believe that their public interest is not being served and that a public official is using a position for private gain, and also requiring additional disclosures as well.
The second bill, sponsored by Friedson, prohibits severance pay for county employees unless authorized by law. It also precludes severance pay for any county employee who has violated the ethics law. Both bills come on the heels of the resignation of the county's chief administrator, Andrew Klein, who left his position after being cited for ethics violations.
I believe we should pay public officials and public servants what they deserve to be paid, but I don't believe we should have public taxpayer dollars being used to provide golden parachutes for people as they leave positions of public trust. And we've seen it happen in egregious circumstances at other levels of government. It is a practice that has happened and been allowed in county government, and it's often undisclosed, and it's frequently and up to this point has been unregulated.
Both of these measures will be up for public hearing on October 20th. Also this week, approval of more than $7.5 million to address the challenges in finding childcare during the COVID-19 pandemic. In March, the coronavirus pandemic forced schools and childcare services here in Montgomery County to close. However, for many people, the need for childcare soared. This week, the County Council introduced an appropriation of more than $7.5 million to aid childcare providers in opening and also reopening those childcare programs in public school buildings.
We all realize that this is an intersection, literally, of so many different needs for the child, for people who are fortunate enough to be able to do work, to the people who are working inside their home, outside their home. I mean, everything that we're involving ourselves in, and the additional help for those young people who need academic support. All of that is a part of this.
The funding will be broken down as reopening grants for full-day childcare in MCPS buildings, as well as support for the tuition for school-age childcare of low-income working families and children in foster care.
I think this really is, in my opinion, a well-rounded package with what we did earlier in terms of providing assistance to our child care community, and I believe that this will go a long way in helping so many other families.
Child care providers that operate within Montgomery County Public Schools are running out of funds.
Council President Katz says this funding is not only critical for those daycare providers, it also ties in with the economic health of the county. With that in mind, he says the council will work closely with the Department of Health and Human Services to make sure the money is distributed in a timely manner.
But then you have the issue of how fast can you get the money in the person's hand, in the business's hand, that actually needs it, that needs it to breathe, to their lifeblood. So we know that Health and Human Services is looking at it, figuring out what's the best way, the fastest way, so we'll give resources to help them as well.
Well, that does it for this edition of the Council in Brief. For County Cable Montgomery, I'm Susan Kenedy.